Bruce Wayne.
Awesome, hilarious, handsome. They think I'm him. I'm not about to let a man take credit for a woman's work. I always thought when I put that suit on that nothing could hurt me, but I was wrong. I've never been up against someone as strong before.
Oh, God!
Everyone off the roof now!
What are you doing?
I promised you war. This is what it looks like.
Aloha! This is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews and TV show reviews on the entire island of Oahu. Yet, today I'm not bringing you a review, generally speaking, as much as just some entertainment news. For those who know or have heard, Deadline last night reported that Ruby Rose of the CW DC Batwoman television show has decided to step down. She is stepping down from the role, having completed a shortened first season due to the COVID-19, of course. It was normally going to get 22 episodes. It only got 20. And she has decided to back out of the role. For those of you who don't know, Ruby Rose was a DJ, a little bit of a singer, movie actress. I had seen her in The Return of Xander Cage, that new XXX movie. And then, of course, The Meg. Where she did actually, that was probably her best role movie-wise that I had seen her in. Outside of that, I hadn't seen her in anything. And it was really big news for the Berlanti verse on CW to get a movie star such as Ruby Rose, somebody who was fairly popular and in the entertainment business, be it kind of a somewhat B-movie star, but maybe a little bit of an up-and-comer. At least that's what they were hoping. I have not completed the entire first season of Batwoman. I am 4 episodes away. The COVID's kind of slowed me down on some other, my normal TV watching. But I will say this about it. The Batwoman show was a shaka thumbs down. A lot of people were very upset with the idea of a Batwoman movie, Batwoman TV show. They would have liked a Batman TV show. Wasn't going to happen. Not with what was on the horizon for Batman in the movies at the time with Ben Affleck, and now especially with the Patterson movie coming up in the works. So that was never going to happen. So, the rest of the Arrowverse, Greg Berlanti decided he's going to focus on the B characters, and Batwoman is definitely a B character. I don't know much of her in the comic books, never having read her series, but essentially it is a female that takes on the mantle of Batwoman, as Batgirl is already taken. Her big claim to fame is in the comics. She was a LGBT person, a lesbian woman that had many, romantic interests with other women in the comics, and that was portrayed into the show, having Ruby Rose already be an openly gay actress. So that definitely helped them out in that respect. I gotta say, I didn't care either way about that issue. Like I said, I was never a big fan of Batwoman in the comic books. I was never a fan in the animated shows. She was in, I think, only one or maybe two movies of the animated series. And both of those were, weren't very good Batman movies to begin with. But I am shocked that Ruby Rose has decided to step down from this role. It is a big role. It was a big feather in her cap to get this role, not only for the CW to gain a movie star level actress for the part, but, whereas they normally go with unknowns for all their roles. Flash, Greg Gusterson, Stephen Amell, Melissa Benoist, maybe might have been the most famous with Supergirl having come from, Glee, I guess? But I don't know. But yeah, Stephen Amell was pretty much an unknown at the time, and he started the entire Arrow universe on CW. So to get somebody of movie quality was quite a feather in their cap, and Ruby Rose wanted to be taken more serious as an actress and to head a major television show which had a built-in fan base already, anything to do with DC and the superheroes, the Bat family. Sure, it wasn't Batman, sure, it wasn't Robin, or maybe even Batgirl, but Batwoman was still quite a considerable achievement. However, in the press, it had been known that a lot of the stunts that she had done, she had gotten some injuries, even for a short time, had to have some surgery to prevent a possible paralysis of one side of her face due to a botched stunt or a problem with one of the stunts that she had done, something to do with some type of nerve damage, a pinched nerve or something. What I will say is that Ruby Rose is a decent enough actress. She didn't have the greatest movie career so far. In Return to Xander Cage, she was a action-oriented character. Didn't deal with any of the fight scenes. She was mainly a sniper in that movie. The Meg, she was a scientist, so she wasn't really into the action-oriented persona, and weighing maybe 105 pounds soaking wet. She wasn't like instantly drawn, I think, to most action parts, as maybe some actresses are and would be. So she was, what I'm trying to say is she was very green, and that was the reason for the Shaka thumbs up for what I had seen of the Batwoman television show. For the Shaka thumbs down for the Batwoman television show. It was a Shaka thumbs down up until Crisis, because even in her sneak preview of the previous year's Crisis, 2018's Crisis, where we saw her action was not any good. Her fight scenes were all over choreographed and really looked, she was really green in them. You could tell she was throwing punches extremely wide. Anytime there was a major stunt or choreography in the fight scenes, fortunately, she had the mask on, so the stunt performer could easily step in for her when they did that. Why the stunt woman didn't go in all of her roles, maybe it's because she was delivering some dialogue here and there in between punches. I don't know, but it certainly hurt the show to see such poor physical acting, especially by the lead star of the show, given what we had seen already from Stephen Amell for a character who's supposed to be physically proficient. and even her backstory, being a trained military woman, we didn't really see too much of that convey from Ruby Rose herself. You know, be that as it may, her acting was fine, and she did a fine job in the acting roles for that, you know, even drawing some emotion. The strongest character I would say that was on that show had to be from her villain, her Joker-like villain, her sister that played Beth Kane, and Alice, her villain, Rachel Scarston, was a fabulous actress and could actually do some of the physicality in her villain role. Now, in Ruby Rose and Rachel Scarston, it also stars Megan Tandy, who is a love interest, a police officer that kind of works with Ruby Rose, a former love interest from Ruby Rose's character, Catherine Kane. Nicole Kang plays Mary, Batwoman's adopted sister. As her mother was killed, her father remarried, and you know, Mary was from the woman that her father had married, who plays a doctor and student on the show. Also, they have introduced a other person, Christina Ulspar, playing Julia Pennyworth. Yes, it is a nod to Alfred the Butler and Batman, who had a past love interest / military kind of relationship with Kate Kane, Batwoman, Ruby Rose. So what I'm trying to get at is that they said that they're looking, you know, for a replacement for the actress Ruby Rose for season 2. They're going to continue the show. I don't know how episode 20 ended, seeing that I haven't seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to finishing off those 4 episodes. I've just had my hands full with watching the rest of Flash, Supergirl, etc. So, you know, and I'm still behind Legends of Tomorrow as well. But I was going to say that post-crisis of this year, the post-Infinite Crisis on Earth, Batwoman had actually gotten really good. You know, the woman who plays Alice, Rachel Scarston, had, you know, a wonderful emotional bonding couple of the episodes with Ruby Rose's Batwoman, Kate Kane, her sister. Whereas it looked like maybe she would go into a good guy kind of role, a good girl kind of role, which would have been awesome. And it was set up for that, but then it took a couple of turns. But either way, she has been the strongest character on there. And I would say that the mantle of Batwoman could easily go to her, because we have seen some physicality acting from her. She definitely has the chops to do this. And if just a little bit of a tweaking, they could get where, you know, maybe she throws off, you know, the death of Batwoman, Kate Kane, you know, if they go that route, could inspire, you know, Beth, Rachel Scarston, to come back and, you know, shake off her Alice evil villain persona and become the good Batwoman to take on the mantle of Gotham's latest Batwoman and hero without the public really knowing in the show. Outside of that, I personally would like to also see maybe Nicole Kang, her sister, who plays her sister Mary, on the show as a doctor. Of course, she hasn't shown any physicality, but that didn't stop Ruby Rose from taking the mantle, and that would still bring, you know, an inclusiveness with the Asian community as Nicole Kang is, you know, of Asian descent in the role. And she would be a very inspiring Batwoman as well, if not, gay, then at least, still showing some diversity there. Outside of that, Christina Olspar, who was only in a couple episodes, could easily come back and fill the entire role as Batwoman for Ruby Rose, Julia Pennyworth, which would still give a good, strong tie to the Bat family universe, being Alfred's daughter or cousin, or so, I think it's his daughter. So, I mean, she has shown some physicality in the episodes that she has been in. So she could easily take over the mantle of Batwoman. So I guess what I'm saying is that I'm not shocked given the demands. I mean, even after 8 episodes, Stephen Amell had to call it quits. Whereas as fans, we would have wanted him to do like 10 seasons of Arrow, at least, if not forever. The physicality of the roles takes a demand. And if you're not in top physical form and at least had some experience in action shows or movies, then yes, I can see where Ruby Rose, after completing the first series and having those injuries, it was just too much maybe for her. So yes, I'd have to say that yes, she would have to be, wanting to leave the role. And I don't think it could be blamed on it's like, oh, well, I have this other great opportunity coming up, since the COVID has kind of stopped all other productions, including season 2 for right now, and that is on hold. So I'd like to see Rachel Skarsten be put into the Batwoman role. At the very least, Christina Olspar, the Julia Pennyworth, or even Nicole Kang. Maybe she would be willing to take over as Batwoman and still show some type of diversity in the role. Instead of bringing in an outside actress to take over, or as some people have said, a man to play Batwoman, which I think would be totally ridiculous. I'm sorry if I've offended you on that, but the role is Batwoman, and at least get a woman for the role. And Julia Pennyworth, Christina Olspar, in the show at least has shown, to be a gay character, if not gay in real life, which was another feather in the cap for the role of Batwoman. At least she on the show shows, leaning towards that aspect as having a former relationship with Ruby Rose's Batwoman, Catherine Kane persona. So those are just my thoughts. I hope Ruby Rose well in the future, and I hope this doesn't reflect negatively on any potential movies for her, possibly television series. It may, as other networks might be unwilling to take the risk on her, definitely in a long-term role. Those are just my thoughts. I wanted to give you those and say, hey, just go ahead and continue to watch Batwoman. I think it could be extremely better, as it had already gotten and improved more positively since post-crisis, after Christmas with the show. And I think season 2 has the potential to be even that much greater, especially if they keep one of these characters that have been on the show and do it even more, because they already have a built-in backstory and have been established on the show. All right, thank you so much. This is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, just giving you my thoughts on the whole Batwoman, Ruby Rose, kerflunkle that has taken place in lack of movie and entertainment news. This seems to be, at least for the moment, some of the hottest stuff out there right now. and, consider it. I think those 3 actresses that have already been established on the show would do a very good job in moving the role forward with Batwoman post Ruby Rose. All right, thank you so much. This is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, saying mahalo and aloha.